we need to know whether people are leaving or not.
Hey guys, here in a nutshell with me, Ina. This is a follow-up episode to our episode yesterday kung saan pinag-usapan po natin yung action plan ng IRCC to prevent cases of overstaying. Okay, I wanted to talk about this again because binalikan ko po yung committee meeting kung saan kinuha ko yung mga soundbites na share ko dun sa episode kahapon. And I realized I think there's still a number of soundbites that I want to share with you because I think it might be of interest to many of you, no? Pero lahat po ito still related dun sa issue ng overstaying. It's really very clear, ano, na mukhang mas mag-e-effort talaga ang IRCC to contact people who are facing expiring permits, no? Yung mga malapit na po mag-expire ang permits para i-encourage sila to leave kung mukhang talagang hindi po sila makaka-transition into a different status o makakuha ng bagong permit. Bakit ko rin to gusto pag-usapan? Kasi nakita ko rin to kanina pinopost ng IRCC sa mga social media accounts nila, no? This one. Update ito dun sa mga number ng new arrivals na mga students at workers. So binabandera syempre ng IRCC na effective yung ginagawa nilang paghihigpit kasi nga konti na lang yung mga bagong dating na international students at workers kung ikukumpara sa mga nakaraang taon. O, basahin natin na sabi niya, get the facts. The number of new students and workers arriving in Canada continued to decline in February. 2,135 new students arrived that month, which is a drop of 48% compared nung Feb 2025 at 77% drop naman compared nung Feb 2024. Laki nga naman ng ibinaba, ano. Sa new workers naman, the arrival of about 10,375 new workers daw in Feb is a drop of 28% compared nung February 2025 and 76% drop compared nung Feb 2024. So kung babasahin nyo lang yan, iisipin nyo na talaga na oo, konti na lang talaga ang temporary resident population. Kasi yan po yung sinasabing goal ng IRCC, di ba? Mapaliit yung temporary resident population dito. But I wanted to discuss this issue of overstaying again. Kasi for me, maliban sa pagdidiscuss ng pagbaba ng new arrivals every month, it should be complemented with data of people leaving. Diba? Which is absent dito po sa data na pinipresent ng IRCC. Kaya mahalagang pag-usapan din ito, no? Yung enforcement ng compliance sa mga permits. If we do not see data of people leaving, hindi kompleto basically yung picture na pinipaint nung information na binibigay ng IRCC. Dapat sabayan because that's the only way we will really see if indeed the temporary resident population is getting smaller. Siguro, with these efforts underway from IRCC, I won't be surprised if yung mga data na ipepresent ng IRCC in the future would have this complementary data about the number of people leaving. Okay? Bago ko rin i-play yung mga soundbites, guys, no, I'd like to read some comments from the episode yesterday. I truly appreciate them, no? Okay, una, ang sabi ni Noel, paano daw kung hindi sinasagot ang call at email? Sabi niya, yung call at email na sinasabi ni Noel siguro, kasi ang plano nga daw po ng IRCC, bago pa mawala ng status ang isang tao o kapag na-detect nila na, mawawala na ng status, ito, mag-expire na yung permit rather, tatawagan daw nila, i-email nila to follow up. O are you going to leave? Or siguro to ask if meron silang pending application, yung mga ganyan. According to IRCC, gagawin daw po nila yan to encourage voluntary departures. Okay, so ang sabi ni Noel, paano kung hindi rin sumagot? Kasi yung mga dating iniimbestigahan, di ba, ng IRCC tungkol sa fraud, sabi, hindi na raw nila kinompleto yung investigation kasi hindi raw sila binalikan ng mga estudyante. Ewan ko na lang, Noel, siguro naman, I'm hoping, no, IRCC will not let criticisms continue tungkol sa aspeto na yan. Okay? But we will see. We will see. Thanks, Noel. Ito namang sunod, si Urge. Sabi niya, Canada needs its own version of ICE. Okay, what do you think about that, guys? I know some of you want to see that too, pero ako personally, and I've explained this in an episode a few months ago, no, wala pa po ako sa puntong yan na tingin ko kailangan nung ICE as aggressive as what we see in the US. No, I'm not there yet. Let me know your thoughts about that too. Okay, ito naman si Waway, sabi niya lagyan ng reward ang pagtitip ng mga TNT para makatipid sa surveillance costs at dagdag kita din. Ako, I'm sure marami mga kababayan natin na magte-take advantage dyan kapag sakaling magkaroon ng reward system para dyan. Ano. And last comment I will read is from About You. Sabi niya, paano sila aalis? Panay, bigay nila ng extension sa mga tourist visa holders. Meron daw mahigit na 3 taon na extend ng tourist visa. And then he mentioned something here, na paano naman daw hindi naiisip ng IRCC na yung mga tourist visa holders na mga ito hindi nagtatrabaho. Hindi naman sana lahat, Hindi naman sana lahat about you. But I do understand what you're saying, Okay, so thank you again dun sa mga nagko-comment. Now, let us go back to some of the sound bites I want to share with you. Yung unang isi-share ko actually na panood nyo na to kahapon. But I will replay it because alam nyo, I realized ito ang pinaka na-pick up na soundbite doon sa meeting. Because hindi rin to talaga na-highlight doon sa Auditor General report on the International Student Program. This is a soundbite from the Auditor General, Sige, let me play this first. And this really puts into context yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kaninang data ng IRCC tungkol sa mga new arrivals.
Using the Immigration Department's available data, we worked with the Canada Border Services Agency and found that only about 40% of the 39,500 students required to leave in 2024 had in fact left the country.
Okay, alam mo mali pa yung pagkaintindi ko dun sa episode kahapon, 40% lang dun sa 30,000+ na expired permits na international students raw ang umalis. Ang intindi ko, 40% yung nagstay. Baliktad pa, no? So imagine that, doon sa mga dapat umaalis na international students, 60, more than half, are not leaving. So yun yung sinasabi ko sa inyo, guys, walang silbi yung sinasabing pagbaba ng new arrivals kung hindi naman pala na-enforce, hindi nangyayari yung inaasahan ng IRCC na voluntary exit ng mga nawawala ng status, di ba? I'm not saying na mga kababayan natin yan na ako naniniwala ako na basunurin ang mga Filipino temporary residents, at least most of them. Okay, next soundbite. Puntahan po natin yung Deputy Minister ng IRCC, si Mr. Ted Gallivan.
So simply put, we need to know whether people are leaving or not. It's our responsibility to seek that information and to build a picture of whether people are leaving or not. I think it's our job to manage towards that goal. And yes, we'll try the lighter touch efforts, but I think it in complement with tougher consequences. And so I would say managing the end of the visa process more proactively and systematically would be one that I would say is a key shift in terms of how IRCC is looking at this problem.
Yan. Okay, klaro na, no? Sabi niya, we need to know if people are leaving or not. This guy, the Deputy Minister, Mr. Ted Gallivan, again, bago lang siya sa IRCC. Nagulat daw siya, sabi niya, I'm surprised. Yung sistema daw nila has no indicator of these people who are supposed to be leaving. Imagine that. Isa po yan sa mga revelations nung meeting na yan, nung April 20, 2026. Sabi niya, I'm surprised na walang ganung tracking mechanism. And according to him, that is one of the things they are currently working on. By May daw, magkakaroon na ng sistema to identify these people. Okay? Again, balikan niyo yung episode ko kahapon, guys. Actually, all these next soundbites are from Ted Gallivan din pala, no? At itong susunod ko na ipe-play, ito na pala yun. Ito pala yung kakasabi ko lang.
But that also implies that RCC didn't know if people were leaving. Is that a fair statement?
I would describe the prior approach as more reactive on an exceptions basis if they thought there was a problem. I would also describe the amount of time, an annual process versus actually acting before the person's visa expired. So I would say both the timeliness and the thoroughness weren't where they needed to be.
But the reality is that the department didn't pay a lot of attention to whether people were leaving. I mean, that's what the Auditor General found, is that you didn't know.
Well, again, I share, it's a small symbolic statement, but we didn't have an IT indicator indicating whether somebody was in the country or not in our IT systems.
1 minute.
Ms. O'Gorman said that now they will have consequences in referring to people who are, abusing the system. Do you agree that people will now have consequences with some of the things you're talking about?
I think it's essential, actually, and back to kind of a theme that a number of members have explored, Madam President, the idea that the soft touch, the nudge, only works if people know there's a real consequence. And so there has to be, in order for the polite, please leave, your visa is expired, to work, there has to be a real consequence, or else they're just hollow words. So, Madam Chair, I think the kind of tough consequences are not just appropriate, but they're essential to making the other interventions effective.
Okay, guys, no? That confirms our suspicions from before pa, no, sa mga suki natin matagal na nanonood sa atin. It confirms our suspicion na talaga itong IRCC and CBSA. They have not been tracking the exit of temporary residents. Sinabi niya na mismo dyan, no?
But we didn't have an IT indicator indicating whether somebody was in the country or not in our IT
1
systems.
minute. We didn't have an indicator. Okay, next soundbite. Ito naman, this is in relation doon sa mga libo-libong inimbestigahan, about 4,000. Inimbestigahan for fraud dahil na flag na non-compliant yung mga international students na yan. Hindi nila kinumpleto yung investigasyon kasi nga hindi sila binabalikan. Sagot ng IRCC, nung umupo na siya and then he started asking questions about why were the investigations were left at that, alam mo ang sabi sa kanya? Wala raw siya nakuhang sagot. Mr. Gallivan here answered in French, pero buti na lang may nag-auto-translate, no? Kaya huwag kayo magulat na babae yung boses na maririnig ninyo.
Secondly, we understand that, first of all, we need to identify fraud when there's the visa application. That should be the first step. And then secondly, when we have identified a high-risk case, it doesn't make any sense to not follow up on those. So I mentioned that, and they didn't give me any reasonable reason why the follow-up was not done. There should be follow-up, and I haven't received any valid excuse why there was no follow-up.
Tanong ko, gano'n na lang ba yun? Gano'n na lang yun? Hayaan na lang? Basta ang narinig ko lang din sinabi niya later on was that babalikan nila itong mga hindi nila nakumpletong investigation. Anyway, that is it for this episode. Ano ba yan? Mali pala yung title na nalagay ko. Okay, but that is it. Let me know what you guys think. I'll end this episode here. Bye, guys!